This question already being discussed in the class, and when we were studying about growth and development chapter, I was discussing what is human development and what is IHDI, inequality adjusted human development. As you are remembering about it, we have already completed this topic in our class, but fortunately this question was asked in 2025 mains after covering it. And basically we can say this is very moderate question if you are preparing for the UPSC civil service examination, and if you are not understanding this context, so it means you are not quite aware with your syllabus. Okay, moving forward, we will discuss about how you need to write this answer and what the question is asking. First of all, before writing any question, before writing any answer, we need to read the question properly and we need to understand the essence of that question. So look at here. First, we will read the question properly so that we can easily understand where we need to start our answer and what are the key words of this question. First of all, distinguish between the Human Development Index and Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index with special reference to India. There are two keywords. First is Human Development Index. We need to shortlist the keywords. Human Development Index, and second one is IHDI, Quality Adjusted Human Development Index. And they are asking about just distinguish between the HDI and IHDI. But when we will write about all these things, we have to take a reference of India. It means if we are writing about Human Development Index, we have to write answer in the context of India. It means how the Human Development Index of India is representing the India's development. And second, if we are writing about the IHDI, we also have to include India's inequality. We have to mention it. So there are two terms which is clearly shortlisted from the question. And now we will read the further. Why IHDI is considered the better indicator of the inclusive growth. So now we have one more keyword, that is inclusive growth. So we have to write about inclusive growth, and we have to write some examples regarding inclusive growth, how inclusive growth can be achieved by using IHDI. So first of all, we will write about Human Development Index, then we will write about IHDI, and then we will write about how IHDI is playing some roles to achieving the inclusive growth in economy. So we will start writing the question. First of all, we will write about development. Write down what is development. At least we need to know the basic understanding of the meaning of development. First of all, we will write about the development. Development is a human progress. Development is a human progress. If someone asks you, what is development? Then we can say development is a qualitative measure, and it basically can be reflected by the human progress. How the human progress can be measured? By its education, by its knowledge, by its living standard, by its health. There are several dimensions where we can measure its human development. So there are some indicators, indexes, which is being published by UNDP, and it is globally recognized, and most of the country generally accepts. But the ranking of those countries which are having the lower ranks and they are not doing good in HDI ranking, so sometimes these countries rejects these Human Development Index. But no issue, we will write here the answer at least. So basically we have to write about The what is development? Development is a human progress holistically. And the question is asking about HDI. Now we will start writing about, because the question does not have 250 words or word limit. Question is having only 150 words word limit. So we have to be more concise, and we have to be more authentic to writing this answer. So there's no space for writing something extra, and where you can put your words whatever you want. You have to be more concise. So directly we need to write about the HDI. What is the HDI? HDI is published by UNDP since 1990. And HDI measures on three dimensions. HDI measures on three dimensions. First is health, and which is bitterly represented by life expectancy. Life expectancy. Life expectancy. It means what is the first dimension of HDI? That is health. It means HDI measures health of countries population, and that can be measured by the its life expectancy at birth. Birth. And if we talk about the second one, that is education, or you can write a better word, that is knowledge, which is generally used by uh, UNDP, knowledge. And there are two indicators which are used by the UNDP to measure the knowledge of the country. First is expected year of schooling, and second one is means year of schooling. So second is this dimension where the HDI measures and compares the country on the ground of knowledge, and what is the expected year of schooling, what is the means year of schooling. Suppose that if we take example, if they are just measuring the development in India, so they will take first dimension health. What is the life expectancy of India's population? What is the knowledge? What is the expected year of schooling of India's population? What is the means year of schooling of India's population? And there is a third dimension is also there, that is life living standards, that is living standard. And if we talk about the living standard, that can also be reflected by per capita income. That can be also reflected by per capita income. So generally these are the dimensions which are basically measures by the UNDP to publish a HDI. And all these dimensions has some HDI values, and HDI values generally ranges between 0 to 1. There is a score system. It means if your score is heading towards the 0, it means you are not developing. If your score is heading towards the 1, you are being developed, you are betterly developed country. HDI value ranges between 0 to 1. And HDI also classifies countries on their scores, and there are four categorization, yeah, classification we can say. First is lower developed countries. Second is medium development countries. And third is high development countries, high, where they will find better health, better knowledge, better living standards. And third is then the last one is very high. So according to the scores, they put the ranking, they put the categorization. India ranks 130 ranks in HDI, and India is placed under the medium human development index. So currently we can say Human Development Index is published by UNDP since 1990, and if we see the India's growth, so we can clearly see India is gradually improving their economy, their education, their health, their per capita income. What is the status of India's HDI? Look at here. If we talk about life expectancy at birth, according to 2022 report, India's life expectancy at birth is 72 years. Basically, we can say if a child born at this point of age, and he will live up to 72 years, and expected year of schooling as 13 years, and the means year of schooling 6.9 years, and the per capita income 9,047 dollar per person per capita income is, and India's score is 0.685. Earlier I told you basically HDI value ranges between 0 to 1. So currently India's score is 0.685. India is ranked as a medium development country. Medium development country. And there are 4 classification. First is low, second is medium, third is high, and the fourth one is very high. So India is categorized as a medium development country. And when one more thing, this report is being published since 1990s. So we can clearly see here life expectancy at birth is 58.6 years. Now it slightly improved. Currently we have 72 years of life expectancy at birth. But earlier it was expected year of schooling is 8.2 years. Currently we have 13 years. We have improved a lot. Means year of schooling was 2.8 years, which is currently approx 6.9 years, near to 7 years. And the gross national income also increased. This is 2,167 per capita income. Currently we can say this India is gradually improving, but whatever we have achieved till now, we were having the more potential to achieve, and we need to placed at least under the high developmental countries. Now we will write about IHDI. What is IHDI? What is IHDI? IHDI is basically Human Development Index adjusted with disparities. Adjusted with disparities. Adjusted with disparities. What is the meaning of it? We can clearly say, if we talk about India, India has several kind of challenges like social gaps, and like gender gaps. When we talk about what? When we talk about development. So development, we can say development is not equitable in India. Why the development is not equitable in India? We will take some examples. Suppose we will move on the next page. Suppose if we're talking about IHDI, Human Development adjusted with inequality. And if we take example, because the question was asked, we need to take the reference of India. So now we will take the reference of India. If we talk about India, India has some social gaps and some gender gaps. India has some social and gender gaps. If India has some social and gender gap, there will be some disparities. What kind of disparities? On the basis of just like rural and urban. Yes or no? Like if we talk about the gender disparities, female female and male, female and male, and other, if we talk about other aspects, socio and socio and economic, socio and economic gaps, socio and economic gaps. So currently we can say rural, urban, female, male, socio and economic gaps, and these kind of basically disparities existed. How we can understand this concept? Like, if we talk about the rural areas will have the lower education access, and if we talk about the urban areas, they will have better education services, better healthcare services, better per capita income. It will be slightly improved, better. They will have the better education, better healthcare, better per capita income. Or similar things will happen with the males also. Better education, better health, better per capita income. And on the other aspect, if we talk about females, they will have the education. The females are having the education, but education, health, per capita income, similar education, health, per capita income, but comparatively lower than this. Lower than this. Females are having education, but they have limited education in compared access education in compared to the male ones. So we can say they have better human development and they have in comparatively low human development. So this shows us inequality. This shows us inequality. Inequality. And this was the inequality human development index. Basically, if we talk about human development index, human development index is a average human development of a country, but this human development index is not reflecting the inequalities and disparities. But when we talk about these aspects, as we know, the development of urban areas in context of education, in context of healthcare, in context of income is better in compared to the rural ones. If we talk about the males and female, if we talk about the gender disparities, these gender disparities also existed. And as we know, male generally have the better human development ranks and better human development values in compared to female ones. So reflecting this inequality, the UNDP publishes IHDI. UNDP publishes IHDI. IHDI measures such things and adjusted inequalities. So it means HDI will be always higher than the IHDI, because IHDI always adjust this gap, this disparity. Just we will take one more example. Suppose if we talk about regional disparities, Bihar comparatively have lower human development in compared to Kerala. Kerala has better human development, better education, better living standard, better life expectancy. But if we talk about the Bihar ones, the population of the Bihar have the education, but they do not have that much level of education where whatever the Kerala's population has have it. So this kind of disparities is being addressed in IHDI. We have to write it. We have to write about all these things. IHDI is a human development adjusted with inequalities, or we can say disparities. If we talk about India, India has several kind of challenges, gaps like social gaps, gender gaps. This, so these type of disparities existed. And if we take example, the examples, I have taken the examples of rural and urban, male and female, socio and economic classes, uh, gaps also there. So these type of gaps and problems are being basically addressed under the IHDI. Now we will see basically IHDI, which is being published by UNDP. Look at here. Look at this. What this particular IHDI shows us. According to IHDI, basically what was the HDI value? That was 0.685. And if we talk about 0.685 means we have the average human development index. We have average human development value. And what is the IHDI? It means there is a inequality is being adjusted. Adjusted means we have subtracted the inequality. How the equalities are being find here? If we talk about the overall loss, so 30.7% loss we find here. And when we reduce the 30.7% loss here, what will be the value? That will be 0.475%. And inequality in life expectancy, there is a 15.5%. Inequality in education, 36.9%. Inequality, it means rural population will have less access in compared to the urban ones. Inequality in income is 37.4%. So these data shows us basically which sectors are needy, which sectors government need to focus. Back on the topic was basically what is HDI, we have already discussed, and now we have already discussed about IHDI. Now we will move on the next part of this question. The question was inclusive growth. What is inclusive? First of all, we have to define inclusive growth. How you will define the inclusive growth? There's a simple definition. According to me, the definition of inclusive growth, basically contribution from all society in contribution from all section of society, all section of society in a development. First of all, what is the first statement? Contribution from all section of society in development, and benefits should be distributed equitably with among. It means whatever the person, those who are basically every section of society must have the contribution in the development. If the every section of society is having the contribution in the development, they must be rewarded back. So this is basically an inclusive growth. Basically, inclusive growth focuses on poverty reduction. Inclusive growth focus on basically empowerment, sectoral growth, upliftment. These are the sectors. The people need to become more empowered, so that we can say this: every person, every section of society must have the contribution in development. And on the other aspect, the benefits, whatever benefits will be provided in the society, that should be distributed equitably. And further, how IHDI is helping to government to ensure the inclusive growth. IHDI basically helps to find inequality and disparities. Yes or no? Inequality and disparities. If IHDI helps to find the inequality and disparities, just like example, rural disparities. Suppose IHDI helps to government to find the rural disparities. And how this this IHDI helping to government? This IHDI is helping to government as a policy guide. The government, where government need to focus for upliftment, because through the IHDI they have identified this section, this particular class, this particular region is backward, so that we can say the policy, it is a kind of policy guide for the government. And the policy guide government, where the government need to focus for upliftment, is, suppose if we take examples like how this policy guide can help to the rural population to come out from this backwardness. Support, if this IHDI finds the rural disparities, then the government can take some initiatives like for better health care. They can the government is running Ayushman Bharat scheme. Ayushman Bharat scheme can improve their health care access. And second one is, if we talk about per capita income or income of the public, there is a Manrega, PM Kisan schemes, PM Fasal Bima Yojana, because these are the rural ones and the major occupation in the rural areas are the agriculture. If the income is being protected by the government, by these things, by these initiatives, so then we can easily find the human development will be improved. And on the other aspect, we can say, if we talk about education, government ensured implemented Article 21A. Government ensured a national education policy, PM Sri scheme. So this is kind of policy guide for the government, where government can take the help for betterment of that community where they were having some disparities. So I think if we write our answer in this pattern, we will get the good marks. If we are writing such type of questions, at least we need to read the question properly, then we have to write it. And there's no space for writing some irrelevant thing. We need to focus, we need to concise, and whatever the question is asking, we have to write proper that particular thing which is asked in the question. There was only 150 words. There was no space for any kind of irrelevant things. So first of all, read the question carefully. Whatever the question is asking, then we need to basically identify the keywords. If we are able to identify the keywords, then we can easily write the question. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.